mean,
Get out of my box.
If you just crop your video source to the border, then it's okay.
Right, yeah, no, that's what you do. You crop your video. Hey, get out of here.
On you, whatever.
Okay, I was just making sure you're ready.
I'm just looking pretty for the camera, that's all.
That's all we need you to do, baby doll. What's up, guys? Welcome to another weekly wrap-up. Quit laughing during the pre-intro. Whatever, let's get into it. Alright, so what's up, guys? We are back with another episode of the weekly wrap-up. As always, joining me, the legend himself, the one and only, Dutchrudder. What's going on, man?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Can't complain.
You enjoying those raids?
My drink. Raids? It's been easy street. Oh, you mean because of all the bugs and everything?
Yeah.
So I don't know why, like I've stopped caring about why my alliance captains decide to do certain raids, but we're doing the base difficulty of beta raid right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that's all you can choose.
Breeze.
It's like everything dies in one
sense.
hit. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's like being on raid vacation for the week. It's actually pretty nice.
Yes. It's very nice, yeah. I've been running, Thanos and Black Bolt. I just press Black Bolt ult, and then I go to the next node, and then I can just do that again, yeah. Yep.
So for drinks tonight, we've decided to do a tequila night. So we've actually coordinated our alcohol decisions tonight. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a first. We're making progress as we get through these. It's things come together. They get closer and more aligned. So tonight I am drinking. This is really my favorite tequila. It is a Corazon 100% agave tequila that is aged in William LaRue Weller bourbon barrels at the end. And honestly, I'm literally drinking this straight, and I cannot say that about many tequilas. It is extremely smooth, and I only bought it because it was a Buffalo Trace barrel aged tequila, but I absolutely love it, and I have bought. This is probably my third bottle of it, to be honest with you. Not tonight, of course, but in general, it is an excellent pour. What do you have tonight, Cass?
Sticking with our tequila theme, I like tequila in a variety of ways, but today I wanted to spruce it up, and my girlfriend and I made tequila sunrise.
Nice.
And I like it because it reminds me, I'm just a Star Wars nerd at heart, and it reminds me of a Sunrider's Destiny crystal from Star Wars.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
that's just
nice.
what I think of.
Alright, so this week we had a couple more 2x drops. The first one was Captain Marvel. Her node was giving out 4 shards per pool if you needed it. And then the next one after that was the Merc Mayhem double drop for the Payday event that was coming up this Friday and is currently active this weekend. And then after that we had Bishop added to the Elite Store. So if you're interested in upgrading his red stars, you can do that now. Potentially, if you happen to find him in the Elite Store and have the currency that you need for him, he's certainly a high priority upgrade for the Axemen team. Do you have any thoughts on any of those?
I do. So the double drops are great. The Merc double drop, great opportunity to go for Taskmaster, who's just a god tier solo character, so that's always good. And then Captain Marvel, I believe we also still have rated as a god tier solo character. She might be like on the cusp. She's starting to become a demigod character in the current meta, but she's still an absolute powerhouse, and a 7 red star Captain Marvel is still a nightmare in any game mode. So yeah, good double drops this past week. But regarding Bishop to the Elite Store, I want as many stars and red stars as I can possibly get on Bishop. I am investing really heavily in my Astonishing X-Men. I made several videos telling people, like, get all the red stars you can on Bishop. And Bishop has already appeared in my Elite Store twice. And I have him at 5 red, and I could take him to 6 red. I have almost 150 gold promo credits. And I'm just kicking myself. I've not done it because now that they've introduced Silver Surfer, I have Silver Surfer at 5 red currently. And I don't know when he's going to go in the Elite Store, but if I were to take someone who wasn't Silver Surfer from 5 to 6, like they might just not put him in the Elite Store. He might get like the special treatment, whatever.
I kind of feel that way I think they might go that route too. Yeah, I'm really concerned about that, just because his release method is so off, right? And he's so OP, man, so OP. It is crazy. So yeah, I'm a little concerned about that, but I am saving credits specifically for Surfer, and until I know otherwise, I'm going to continue saving because I feel like he has to get all the reds. And White Tiger was added to the stores and orbs this week. So she was added to the Ultimates, Basic, Premium, and Mega Orbs, as well as the supply sections of the Gold store for 450 cores if you happen to find her for 5 shards. And they removed Shocker from the Mega Orb, which I'm happy about because I certainly don't need Shocker, and I'm sure most people don't. But this is one of those characters I know you have been very hyped on her, so getting her in other ways is certainly a welcomed addition. And adding more RNG to these orbs, can't go wrong there. I mean, I certainly could use more shards on her. How are you liking your White Tiger so far?
I mean, she's doing very, very well. I've been happy with her. I did a 150k punch up with Shadowland the last time I used them in war, and in fact, I don't know why, like in the middle of the match I forgot that there was a vulnerable on someone, and so I was surprised when my White Tiger hit them again and then got a reset and then was immediately ready to go again. So she'd gotten hit by something that was like really low on health, had like almost no health, and so I was like, yeah, White Tiger's probably gonna die right after she does this attack. They're gonna go, and I'm sure that, it'll chain into her and kill her, whatever. And then she got the vulnerable, did a follow-up attack and killed them. Got to immediately go again before the enemy I was worried about had her ult, healed a giant amount, and actually killed the person that I was worried was going to kill her. And I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot. White Tiger is awesome and super powerful. My bad.
And this week we also had the Mercs Payday event this Friday, which is very nice for getting some gold, 800k per hit for 3 hits if you have the max 7-star tier unlocked. I know I love hitting that auto complete button on this one just to get some gold and keep on moving. Do you have any thoughts on this particular event?
No, I mean, I always like Payday. I feel like this one's kind of like the classic Flash event. Like, even though there've always been a couple, like they always did Block Party, but I feel like Block Party got way more exciting with the T4 abilities. Payday was just kind of the classic one that's always been around, and so yeah, I like with everyone, I wish it was more gold. It's always nice. It's a bunch of extra gold that you don't normally get until the event comes around, of course. So it's nice, but the way I look at it these days is like, oh, awesome! I got almost enough gold to take one character from level 75 to 80. So that's all right.
All right, and this week it is the end of the New Moon or Moon Night event, which we have, 3 different pieces of that with the Alliance stuff, the solo dailies, and then the solo orb opening milestones. I know I'm personally just about to finish the solo milestones myself, and our Alliance is like 1 milestone away from finishing the raid nocturnal usage character milestone. How are you doing in this milestone? Is your Alliance done with it already?
I know that the raid ones we're definitely done with, and then okay. I'm having no trouble doing the blitz ones every day, but I've been enjoying not having to do too much blitz, like just enough blitz to get these milestones done. And I've been working on a lot of other stuff, like the all-in-one infographics that people may have seen, and some other projects covering a couple other games as well. And so I am definitely behind on the orb opening one for him, which even if I was like doing like 4 and 5 blitz rotations every single day, you'd still come out to be like just a few orbs behind, even if you were perfectly efficient every day. But I'm not really beating myself up over it because I'm gonna get Moon Knight to 6-star no matter what.
Okay.
And like getting him to 6-star, like whether I'm at 2 shards out of 300 or 22 shards out of 300, or let's get real crazy and I wail out like no other and I get to 52 shards out of 300. It makes 0 functional difference to my roster, and it still means it's going to be a long time before I enjoy 7 gold star Moon Knight. So I'm not too stressed about that final one. Now I will say, if I hadn't already finished DD4, I would be being far more diligent trying to claim every one of those Gear Tier 15 minis that's at the end of those milestones. But fortunately, I'm in a position where I can coast a bit.
Alright, and this week we had the offers drop for Silver Surfer to unlock this incredibly overpowered character who is just amazing at 3 stars and 3 red stars. It is. I'm still fascinated every time I fight one that like how they do this much damage, land all these debuffs and stuff at this low star level. I just can't imagine what the hell he's going to be like when we get him to 7 stars eventually. What's been your experience in Silver Surfer, and how do you think they're going to complete releasing him to get us more stars?
Well, so we know a bit about that. So we'll start with the release method, which is they have the initial round of offers, which if people want to spend, they can get them up to 3 star. And then they have the Strike Pass. And we do know that even the free tier of the Strike Pass, people are going to be able to get him at least unlocked at 2 star for free. So that's a minimum of 45 shards there. And then I'm assuming it's going to be the same as the other Battle Pass. It might be even more generous, but like they want to incentivize that paid tier. And it's pretty much a guarantee that they'll get people to buy that paid tier if they offer at least another 55 shards, so that even if they skip the initial offers, they could get them to a 3rd gold star just from buying the Strike Pass and completing it. So I'm thinking at a minimum, there's going to be another 100 Silver Surfer shards in the Strike Pass, but at an absolute minimum, there's only going to be another 45. But they'd be crazy not to put Silver Surfer shards in at least one of the paid tiers. And then this is not confirmed, but a lot of corroborating rumors all suggest that he is then going to go to the raid season milestones, which are going to be overhauled, which will kind of make him a slow drip, which is kind of how they like to do it. Like have some sort of like a short-term event where the people playing a lot can get a decent way into the character right then, and then slow drip the rest. And considering how powerful he is, and the fact that like no matter how much you wail out on that Strike Pass, you're not going to be able to just get him to 7 star. It's going to make people really chase those raid season milestones, and it'll prevent like 6 star and 7 star Silver Surfer from showing up for a while, assuming that they do make it a slow drip.
So you don't think that there will be a Silver Surfer shard orb available in the store then?
No, I'd be very shocked if they did that.
I would too. Yeah, from what I can tell, this is meant to be a very slow drip on this character. But my biggest concern, honestly, is just, I mean, he immediately, from what I can tell, becomes the strongest non-legendary character, and even then he's in contention overall as being one of the easily top 3 characters in the game with more stars, right? I think right now he's a little bit limited.
We've had more time to talk about him and evaluate him, and I'm just going to say he's the number 2 character in the game.
Who's number 1?
He's literally second only to Dr. Doom.
Okay. Yeah. I think, and even then, his synergy, I mean, is probably he can make a lot more teams really interesting as far as like raid goes, I think, and just his control and everything. And I haven't tested him enough to see really how he does in Doom raids and stuff yet, but I'm curious to see if his control actually makes him better, because once Dr. Doom uses his ult, he's got a lot of turns, right, to get back to where he can really like just blast the enemy's wave or the next wave off the face of the earth, right?
So
that's the
definitely concern. They're definitely like not, they have very different functions. Like when we do the tier list, a lot of times people will ask like, who's the best character? And so like even when we're going through, we rank them by origin and by class. And so even when we're going by origin, we'll run into like, this is a random example, but we'll just be like, would you rather have like Pyro or Juggernaut? And it's like they do kind of completely different things. And so ranking them, it's very tricky. So I think that's where Silver Surfer and Doom are at. They do completely different things, but Doom brings enough utility with him. Like as soon as he can press that ult, he is immediately like giving someone else 3 turns and full healing someone else beyond that. And then he is gaining all these buffs. He's constantly summoning, so he's providing other targets, and he has an unavoidable disrupt that he can apply with his basic. But not to mention his stats are just like ridiculous. He has insane health. He's always gaining the deflect. This is not to say that Silver Surfer isn't also incredible. Like I agree with you. There are instances where I'd rather have Silver Surfer, but the main thing for me is that Silver Surfer can exert a ton of control, and if you give him a few turns to speed up, he becomes nigh unstoppable, and he has really low cooldowns. So by turn 3 and turn 4, he's almost ready to go back at it. But Dr. Doom, pretty much any game mode, and this isn't to say that Doctor Doom is bad in Raid or bad in Dark Dimension, because he's just fantastic. Or he's the best character in the game, in my opinion. But any short engagement, Doom really only needs like to reach his second turn to just end it.
Yeah.
Like you could, and what I've been finding out with my arena defense is if you have like a Shuri or a Star-Lord, you can just turn one. You just give him one energy, and that's it. As soon as he presses that ult, he can wipe out pretty much any team of 5. Like his special just does so much damage. There's no surviving it. Like, yeah, like the only thing that's gonna survive a Doctor Doom special off the top of my head is like Red Skull in Alliance War surrounded by Hydra minions. It's like the only one who's gonna walk away from that kind of okay. But it's just like, as amazing as Silver Surfer is, and his stats are bonkers, but a Doctor Doom special will still just blow him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that said though, Silver Surfer is insane, and yeah, in many instances he's even better. And so I can confidently say Silver Surfer is easily the most powerful character they've ever sold.
Yeah.
You know, some of them may sound roundabout ways. Like you can't buy Ebony Maw, but you can buy the stuff to eventually unlock Ebony Maw.
Right. And it costs a lot
Silver
more
Surfer,
that way.
oh, for sure. No, Silver Surfer is just the craziest character that they've ever just let you purchase shards for outright.
Yeah, and that makes me concerned, right? Is the power creep and the kit creep almost to this extent. It's just insane,
well, it's
right?
Just everything.
It's just
so
across the board. He has really good speed too. Like there's no real like there's nothing really wrong with him. Like that's the crazy thing.
No.
The only way you can really exploit him is if you can get debuffs to land on him, which is actually really hard if he has the right team around him. And it's crazy.
There's so much more to it. Not only do you have to get the right debuffs on him, he has the highest resistance in the game, second only to JJ. Mm-hmm. So like just landing a debuff on him is crazy. And then even if you get all the debuffs on him, if he basics you, like even if he's blind, he'll miss the damage and still send the debuffs right back to you. Or if you're vulnerable and he's a striker, just any attack.
That
like,
doesn't even make sense. Like
no. He's absolutely insane. His health, he has some of the highest health in the entire game. I think there's like 3 or 4 characters ahead of him. His damage, he literally has Black Bolt level damage.
Yeah.
Like everything about him is nuts, and all these things, like his stats in almost every metric are just absurd. His kit is insanely just open up with like get rid of immunities, 2-turn ability block, a bunch of heal blocks. Like he can disrupt. He has so many crazy abilities. But there's one line in particular in his kit that to me indicates like where the game is going. And that line, I'm sure you already know. What is the one line in his kit that is just a head scratcher? It is so busted.
I mean, for healing 5% on every turn is just nuts, right?
That's the one.
I mean, you have to heal block him because even stun, he's still gonna heal, right? Like it goes through the stun from what I remember, right?
Not to my knowledge, so I haven't checked this. Most of the time when someone's stunned, it shuts it down. Now again, good luck hitting him with a stun because he has like basically JJ level resistance.
Yeah, but, I just fought one in arena before this, and he just resisted both ability blocks from my Zemo and X-23, and I'm just like, God, I have to bring Grenadier. Yeah, I have to bring Grenadier just to get that extra focus on Zemo, just to heal block him. And then also,
what are you gonna do against even just like a 5/5?
Right, and the problem is then if you also have a Squirrel Girl with him, she's gonna go before and cleanse that ability block, unless you have somebody else faster to apply ability block to her or kill her somehow.
You can run a Sue, and there's his cosmic hero ally, and she'll just use her special and get rid of it. He's like I said, he's the second most powerful character in the entire game, and the other most, like the only character that in some instances is better than him is someone that like everyone who owns him right now has spent like 10 grand on, something like that. It's Doctor Doom.
So the next change that we've had this week is that the orange gear in the supply store has changed a little bit, so we get a bit more catalyst for our gold. Some of the prices have changed, so for instance, instead of paying 240,000 gold for 5 pieces of superior basic catalyst, you get 20 now, so that's quadrupling the value, which is very nice. Some of the other basic catalysts have also increased in price, but you get a lot more of them per purchase, so that's definitely a welcome addition to anybody that's feeling that orange gear crunch, especially if you're fighting to get into DD4 and complete some of those characters to G15. This is definitely a move in the right direction, and so I'm a little bit happy about this. However, I will say I don't really buy a whole lot of stuff with gold, I would say, at least not this kind of gear. So I'm curious how you feel about this, because I generally spend my raid credits on this. What is your strategy for G15 character gear?
So it depends on what it is that I'm short on. So like when I realized that the only thing holding me up from finishing DD4 was about 2,000 SBCs, and this is back when it was like 240,000 gold for 5 SBCs. I wasn't buying many SBCs for gold, and I was still trying to like save most of my gold for being able to take a new character to max level the day they came out to be able to show them off for content purposes. But if I had extra gold after that, even then I would sometimes buy the SBCs just because I knew like this is what's standing between me and finishing DD4. But I was never happy about it. And I'm glad they, quadrupled this value now. But I'll grab origin pieces. Like for right now, I literally cannot get enough of the spliced X gene, the isomer, the molecule. So I'll buy those for gold. And then I'll always buy superior uniques for gold because you can only get those in so many places.
That's true.
And if I see a superior mini unique that I need, I'll buy that for gold. So
right, the G15 minis are the big thing. Getting 2x per purchase instead of 1 is definitely a big benefit, and everybody needs hundreds of those if they really want to upgrade their war roster. Not just DD4, but yeah, getting your wide balanced roster to what you need for Doom raids, for war, and all that is really important. So that's definitely a big benefit.
Yep. So yeah, I definitely try to buy stuff in the raid store, and I mean right now with the fact that we know we have an event coming up for spending war currency and elite war currency, I haven't been buying anything in the war store. But prior to that, I was pretty much exclusively buying Gear Tier 15 minis because it was one of the only 2 places you could buy them. I wasn't really getting anything else. Now that I've finished DD4 twice, I am occasionally grabbing the 10 stacks of the origin gear.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of a like as need. Like if I have next to none of something, I'm more likely to buy it at a worse value from some other places, just because, for example, I'm glad I had a stash of Mystic Origin gear, so that as soon as Silver Surfer came out, Gear 15 him right away. And I just always try, like my strategy is always have enough on reserve, so that if we find out about some new broken character, by the time that new broken character releases, I can put everything I have into them and kind of capitalize on how broken OP they are on day one. And man, did that pay dividends with Silver Surfer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm just like, this is a long overdue addition to the store, increasing the amount of stuff that you get per gold. I wish they would do it with more things though, because they didn't hit the superior uniques, right? Those pieces that are on that middle left side of your gear. I felt like those could have been decreased in cost, and not because there are 3x drops of those, but they cost 216k gold, which seems like a lot for 3 pieces of gear that you need 12, 24, or 25 of in order to upgrade that one piece of a character from 13, 14, or 15 tier. I feel like that still needs a little bit of attention, and just a reduction in cost at least would be really nice, just so people are more likely to buy them. But other than that, I think this is a good step in the right direction. The other thing I think they're missing is that Gear 14 minis do need a little bit of a price drop or increase in amounts that drop when you're buying them in the stores. Either way, I think probably going with more per purchase would be a better route, just for younger players, newer accounts and stuff to kind of catch up a little bit faster. I think that would really help them too, and I'd like to see that, because they did this for G15 to get us through DD4 a little faster, but we still have a bit of a gap, right, between people who are trying to get into DD4 and people who are trying to get through DD2 and DD3, and I think that would help bridge the gap a little bit. So this week we had a new release. Is 5.2, which brought a whole host of good and bad things with it. So first, let's talk about the good things that were posted in the blog here. So the first thing is arriving over the course of this release is Silver Surfer, Multiple Man, and Polaris. Of course, Multiple Man and Polaris will be part of the X Factor crew to join Longshot and Shatterstar and enhance that team. A couple other things that will be happening is they'll have a Falcon and Winter Soldier event celebrating the Disney Plus show that has started this past week. They've added 10 new save squads, which is of course a welcome addition that I am actually I'm probably most happy about that more than anything, because it's just so helpful in so many game modes to me. But of course they've announced that we're having the 3rd anniversary calendar and celebration coming up. The Strike Pass, where you can spend even more money on this game, is coming in this update. And then there's more rewards, and of course we all know that Silver Surfer will be the character shards that will be rewarded in that pass in its inaugural month. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see what else is in it. I don't think we really know quite yet what all the gear is. There'll be new milestones and rewards for raid season. They've updated the RTA objectives, as well as changing a little bit about how things work when people quit. And then, of course, the ISO 8 update for classes that you can now see in the helicarrier screen when you're choosing to attack or buff a room or whatever. That's kind of helpful. I've always enjoyed that when we can see that and know that information up front. But yeah, I think a lot of these are good ideas for the most part. I don't really like the idea of adding another season pass to a game that already has an RTA season pass. It'll be interesting to see what Strike Pass.
If one season pass is popular, then what could be better? 2 season passes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, if this is a big hit, maybe we'll, hopefully next year we'll be up to like 4 season passes.
Yeah, we'll get a War season pass and a Raid season pass and an Arena season pass. Like, yeah, why not?
I want a login season pass.
Oh, yeah, just for being alive and having a pulse. That's a good one. I like that one. I can do that. We had a whole bunch of character updates here. So the first one, Iceman's base focus was increased 33%, which is actually pretty significant. That's a lot.
So it is. I felt very differently about that until earlier today.
Okay.
I still feel the same way I felt about that, which is like he definitely needed it, and that's awesome, and I'm happy to see that. 2 follow-up comments though. The first is Kitty Pryde needs it every bit as much as he does, and she did not get it, so that's a bummer.
Yeah.
But I'm glad at least he did. But the more important one is I'm doing the all-in-one infographic for the Astonishing X-Men. Like, we literally printed the panels earlier.
That's odd. I mean, for somebody that's really entire purpose is to put slow and stun and stuff on people, and I felt this way about Kitty Pryde too. I mean, granted, my X-Men aren't huge; they're like around 300k or so. But every time I've used them, like I manually use them in Blitz right now just to get accustomed to the team, just for practice. You know, they're like the last team I use in my Blitz rotations just to test them and make sure I know what I'm doing with them. And like I can tell you, like 9 times out of 10, my Kitty Pryde can't land an offense down. Like, it's just nuts. Like I mean, she's not like super underpowered for like what she's fighting. It's just I don't know what's wrong with her. She just feels broken.
No, yeah, her focus is bad.
Yeah,
my Kitty Pryde. I don't even mind the offense downs because Jubilee usually covers for her on that. It's the disrupts that kill me. Every time I see like a Juggernaut, I'm like, oh, well, at least I have Kitty Pryde to lend it. Never mind.
Yeah. But this does look clean. I like it. This is a good infographic for showing Iceman off. He looks pretty badass. Look at this. Look at these abs. Look at these ice abs right here. This is a frozen 6-pack right here, man.
Rock solid.
So yeah, he gets a 33% focus increase, which is really important to us get. I feel like Kitty Pryde needs that as well, and I don't feel like that would be super OP. It's just helping her do what she's designed to do, and it's just like that kind of stuff. I'm like, man. So I was thinking personally, because my Kitty Pryde's only like tier 11 or 12, and I was thinking, man, maybe I do have to take her to tier 14 for that focus buff to make her useful.
I almost took her to 14 today. Yeah, mine's only tier 12, and she does. She needs 14. Period.
Yeah. So that's kind of sad because that gates new characters from being, useful prior to investing heavily in them, and I don't know. That's a bit of a disappointment. But at the
Fortunately, we
same
don't have
time,
that problem with Silver Surfer.
yeah, well, that's true. He's a god among boys here. He's
He's a god among gods.
yeah.
He goes to the god tier characters and is like, "Who's your daddy?"
Yep. So the next one here is Shatterstar had a slight a change here.
Right. Like,
Well, yeah. He cannot be blocked anymore.
that's not the like that's
So,
whatever. No. Went from 2-turn defense down on the primary to 2-turn defense down on all targets.
Oh, that's true too. Yes, but
Yeah, they were like, "Whoa, wait! He's just crippling one person for a couple turns? No! Cripple everyone."
right.
After all, we've got Longshot just pouring in these specials, slamming everyone. They should definitely all be defense down for that.
Right, but now it can't be blocked, so when it comes to war attack, those boosts don't really do anything to deflect the defense downs, right? So that gets a round boost.
Well, they need crit. So
Yeah,
the whole thing is,
and
like, if
the
it's
crit.
unblockable, they can get their crit.
Yeah, so now they can crit on turn 1 with him, and remember, he goes before Longshot on the attack, so he gets to drop the defense downs, he gets to get the crits, they both get the turn meter boost from their passives, and then of course with new X Factors coming in, like that's only going to multiply even more that they have, you know, more characters that can benefit from those passives. Like, this is nuts. I mean, I don't know what to do with these guys. Like, they just seem so OP on paper. It's crazy. Like, you just put them on attack and just let them take out whatever. Like, it's just gonna be nuts. I can't imagine what it's gonna be like with the other two.
Well,
Yeah?
I will say, so like, I'm sure the other two will be good. Like, I think X Factor will be really good, but I'm impressed that I think they're handling it pretty well. Like, I was worried we'd run into a situation like, man, with Longshot and Shatterstar being so crazy as a duo, yeah, it's just gonna get like radically out of hand with the other two. But they've done a good job of having the other two like provide unique functions, but kind of for the most part stay out of their way. Like, not really dogpiling in too much. Like, Polaris is kind of, you know, doing some control effects and definitely contributing. But she's like, I'll give you guys barrier, I'll give them bleed. You know, gonna do some disrupts and stuff over here. But she's not like critting and crushing people. And even Multiple Man is like, I'm gonna run a lot of interference. There's gonna be a lot of my clones firing up. The clones can't crit or anything. I'm not making this team more disastrously powerful. But I'll make it hard for them to get to any of us. They're gonna be really safe, and I still think they'll be a very, very powerful team. But I was worried that, they like, as soon as they announced like the third X Factor character, they would just have like crit bonuses.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I was thinking.
and it'd just be like, oh my god, they're just gonna melt everyone immediately with like infinite turns. So at least for the two that they've released, again, they do look very, very, very strong, but they don't look like broken. Oh god, what are we gonna do against them? So yeah, I like it. They look good, but in fact, and you can tell that like the ones that they've introduced have really cool, unique functions and are definitely going to help the team. But to the point where they were like, yeah, we should probably give them a little bit more offense. It's like, offense isn't even what they were lacking.
So the next topic is the anniversary that is coming. So we're coming up on 3 years of Marvel's Strike Force in existence. So they've announced it with, I guess, a bit of controversy, because as you can see here in the image, there is an in-game mail that contains a prominent gold promo token, 5 Red Star Mystery Man, and whatever this orange box is.
Oh wow, you know his name is Mystery Man. Must be well know that.
And then
about Mystery Man?
Mystery Man, he's Mystery Man. You never know what you're gonna get. But
How do you know about Mystery Man?
they also have superior gear, tier 14 and 15 orbs, training orbs, character shards, and more. So, what are you going to ask for? So the interesting thing, though, to look back on the year 2 rewards, just as a comparison, we got 730 cores to celebrate the 730 days of Marvel Strike Force, which is about 2 years. They got 104 tier 4 upgrade tokens, which I think was for 104 characters, if I'm not mistaken. They gave us 24 promo credits, which I believe was for 24 months. These are silver promo credits, though, not gold, by the way. And then 2 million gold, because why not? But we can see that there's some things there. There's going to be an event around it. and a lot of different stuff. Nothing really particularly piqued my interest from that calendar, or really in general the event so far. It is very standard fare, I would say, as far as the drops go. How do you feel about this third year celebration? Do you think that they're doing enough? Do you think they're giving us enough to celebrate, or is it just kind of another, whatever event?
I mean, they should always do something to give back to the players for an anniversary event. So we'll see. Like you said, like we know there's going to be some events. We know there's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, the solar orb, the galactic orb, and the celestial orb. We don't know what's in those, but like when they were doing like the legacy orbs, those were giving out a ton of gold. And at one point they had I forget if it was I think it was maybe snowball orbs for like one of the seasonal celebrations, where it was like at the time like the only orb you could get Hulk in. So they can do some cool stuff. So it's hard to judge this without knowing what's in the orbs and how generous are they. But if every one of these orbs comes with like 20 T4 abilities or something, or like a 1 in 10 orbs, the 1 million gold drop, like there's ways for them to really make this generous. So until we have numbers, it doesn't mean too much. But again, it is another opportunity for them to be really good to the player base. So let's see what they do. They're so thrifty with so many of the items in the game that they leave themselves room. Like on the one hand, I commend them for like, you guys have been so tight with so many of the resources that you've put yourself in an amazing position where whenever you want, you can just dump a ton of them and it won't break anything. It will just cause a ton of celebration. And
that's true.
A perfect example is like if just tomorrow they gave every player 2,000 T4 ability materials, it would break nothing. No one would just become too powerful and suddenly clear all the content in the game or anything like that. Like it would be fine to do. Where I keep getting hung up is then they don't do it. Then they're like, all right, we're gonna give everyone 10, and you're like, yay, which is like still free stuff. But so yeah. Like let's see them be generous. I'm gonna set some wildly unrealistic expectations here. Like they're not going to do this, but they absolutely could for an anniversary event. Give every player 10 million gold, give every player 2,000 T4s, give every player 300 gold promo credits. They're not going to, but they could do all that, and a month later, people would still be every bit as likely to buy those things and want them and be out of them and craving them every bit. No one would be like, oh, I'm good now. Good, thank goodness. I'll never need gold and T4s and gold promo credits again. The drought is solved. Like it wouldn't happen. So they have the ability to be very generous. Let's see if they actually do. I'm not going to expect too much, but the opportunity is around yet again. So let's see what happens. But I do want to use this pivot because I know we were going to talk about like bugs after this. Yeah. It's kind of a good segue because we have this bug at the end of the bugs we're going to talk about, but we should probably open with it because it's most relevant to this topic, which is, and it's not really a bug. It's just kind of a, guys, and that is that in the devlog announcing that this calendar was coming, they very specifically said there would be gold promotion credits in this calendar.
Yeah.
And in the in-game mail that you just showed, that banner announcing the anniversary event, there's gold promo credits in that image. There are no gold promo credits, even though they announced there would be. And my favorite part of this whole story is, did you see the response to that?
We will have the gold promotional credits that would have been in the calendar will be in a secret anniversary gift during the anniversary event.
That is good news.
What the hell does that mean, though? A secret anniversary gift? It's just
no, hold on. I got a couple. Hold on, I got a couple comments about it. Now, normally they do like just like, oh, surprise! You woke up to a bunch of nice stuff in your inbox or something like that. Like that's not unheard of. But I think what someone wrote in chat just now is right. SH9 wrote, and I quote, "There's one poor asshole right now coding that secret surprise in the office as we speak." Which is probably exactly right.
Alright, and this week on the Scopely Bug Report, we had, man, this is just an infestation of bugs this week. So the first thing is the first update ruined all of your existing raids to where you couldn't attack anything when it came back from the update. Whether or not this compensation is actually for that, this one says ISO 8, so it's for a different issue, but there's just so many issues that happened with this update, it's really hard to keep track of them all. So the other issue that we had was that ISO 8 campaign energy was supposed to provide us orbs for the Moon Knight event. So if you spent energy at the beginning of the update, you did not get any Moon Knight orb shards for it. You got anti-venom orb shards for it, which don't exist in the store and you can't even use them. So that's what this orb is for. So that's one of your LOL, Scopely, or Scopal next issues for tracking in the Moon Knight event. The next one was for the raids. So like I mentioned, you were unable to complete raids coming back from the update. There was an issue with the way that raid sliders were working. Also, the raid simulator button showed up randomly, right?
Well, so you're thinking about it as a bug. Don't think about it as a bug. It's a feature. It was an opportunity to pretend to be able to raid sim. It made me feel good. I like pretending to be able to raid sim.
I tried it. You know what's funny is like I went into Ultimus raid and I couldn't do anything. But when I went into the Greek raid, I also lost my UI and I couldn't back out of it. So I had to close the game and reopen it in order to go back in. So I thought that was interesting. But neither one of them would allow me to raid sim at all, which I was very disappointed by because I always wanted to try this because I remember the last time this got enabled. I thought it was really interesting because I saw some other streamers using it, and I thought it was really entertaining to watch them like run, you know, like a Thanos, Black Bolt, Ebony Maw, whatever Minerva team, and then totally lose everybody on the node when they didn't use 7.5. And I was just like, I want to experience that. I want that new content, that feeling of just utterly failing thanks to a simulator. I think that would be fun.
I want to watch the AI miserably miss.
I know. Like at this point, I just have to laugh at these kind of things because it's just so commonplace that you can't really do much else. All right, and then the community. Also ran into another bug. So the Silver Surfer offer was bugged, and unfortunately it allowed people to buy him multiple times and get potentially more than 3 stars on him, all the way up to 6 stars.
I heard that happened to some people.
Yeah, I had heard all the way up to 6 stars on some people. So that must have been lots and lots of offers purchased, which is insane. So this character, of course, was meant to be a very slow drip reward for raid milestones and events and the Strike Pass and all that stuff, especially with the new Strike Pass launching its first month this month. So getting lots of extra shards on him would be a little bit detrimental to their profit plan, I would imagine. So this is kind of an issue that we've run into, and I know, Khasino, you've experienced this issue on stream actually, so it was all live and recorded, which is kind of interesting. But it highlights the issue of how a person could potentially get multiple offers for a new character at once and kind of get a little bit of a boost on them, which could be a problem. So I'm wondering if you want to talk a little bit about that and what you experienced and how it happened and what the outcome has been since then.
So I'm like kind of piecing the story together kind of as we go, right? Because when it happened, I'm trying to figure out what actually happened, and people have been coming out of the woodwork saying it's a thing that people have known how to do.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you know people who've done this? Because I've been
I do now. I didn't know who to ask about this before this week when it happened, and I was just like, wait, what the hell? Like, because the issue is with this one is there is no other way to get his shards, right? So every other new character offer that we've ever had has always had an orb accompanying it, and you could buy, like, I think it was 650 cores per pool to get anywhere from 6 to 180 shards of that character. And so I had always assumed for the longest time that people in these, high-end guilds with lots and lots of money to waste on this game were just spending, 10,000 cores pulling orbs and getting them to 6-7 stars immediately. But apparently this has been a wide-known secret where, if the game crashes while you're buying an offer, potentially it goes through but doesn't go through, and there's this weird like limbo area that it gets in, and then potentially the game doesn't register that you bought it, which is just odd. But people are forcing that to happen occasionally, and then it's it's happening for any offer apparently, supposedly, at least. I haven't tried it myself, but It can happen, and it's a problem because it can give people an unfair advantage. And knowing that high-end alliances have been doing this deliberately for potentially years is a bit concerning for a player who didn't know about it and was potentially getting shafted compared to other players who had been using it, because it means that my dollars weren't going as far as others, and as a paying player, this is a huge issue. It means that for the community's purposes and whatnot, it's a problem because it means there's an unequal playing field, especially when it comes to offers and the way that your dollars are spent. And I think that's a huge issue that Scopely needs to really take into account onto how they evaluate this problem, and that simply allowing the offer to go forward another couple of times to satisfy the angry mobs isn't necessarily the fix, right? That's the stopgap, right? We need to have a cohesive plan to close the gap, but also understand that it's an unfair advantage to a lot of players that can make it happen or accidentally make it happen, and I really don't like that it exists at all. That's where I'm at with it.
So I will say, yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, if there are people who have been doing this, I guess, like, again, I'm still like, enough people have brought it up and said, like, oh yeah, this is a known exploit, that it makes me think that, like, they're probably not, like, that would be a weird thing to make up. But I've been asking people since this happened, because people have been coming at me like, oh, you meant to do this. So I've been asking people since it happened, like, please just send me video footage of how to do it. I'll make a video on how to do it. And I've gotten a ton of exploits fixed by just making videos on, like, how to do it. Like, we got the alliance switching thing addressed by making a video about that. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Did they fix that though?
Allegedly.
They fixed it for a day and then they unbroke it.
Right.
And then they
right. But it got addressed. Look, whether or not their fix actually sticks is a thing. But the point was that, like, there's a lot of when an exploit is discovered, I think, like, I don't like people having unfair advantages, so the easiest thing to do is just make a video like, hey, everyone, here's how you guys can all do it. Like, some people are doing it, might as well everyone do it. And then when everyone starts doing it, then Scopely is like, well, we can't have everyone doing that, and then they fix it. So the same offer stands, which is, if you are someone who knows how to reproduce this, please send me a recording of it. You PM it to me on Discord or however. I will make a video and show everyone how to do it. But I've been asking people. I've seen, like, so many comments in the threads, like, yeah, this is a known thing. It's like, well, if you know it, show me how to do it. I'll show everyone.
I was completely unaware of it before this week, and it's another bug in the long list of things that they have not addressed. Like, I have sent them videos on how to do the arena exploit as far as August 2019 is when I started doing those for a couple of months, and I just gave up because they just didn't care. Like, they just didn't care. I showed them how it works, how it does it. I showed them multiple ways how to do it, and they never addressed it until this week. Like, it took them that long to do it, and
I suspect in this instance they're only so upset about people finding ways to send them extra money.
Yeah. All right. The next topic we had on the list is the compensation that'll be coming for, let's see, the lunar event. Some people participate in switching alliances between claiming milestones that were not theirs necessarily because their original alliance didn't achieve it or finish the milestones. So they switched to one temporarily to get some milestones and then switch back. From what I understand in their follow-up communications, it's only people who switched from an alliance to another one temporarily to claim milestones and switch back to their original alliance that will be penalized from this. They will not receive the compensation. Anybody who simply didn't switch alliances or switched to a new alliance and stayed there apparently does not get affected by that. So they are trying to target this compensation to hit people who didn't enjoy the benefits of alliance swapping.
What I'm understanding is me and you taught a lot of people how to score some bonus rewards, and then because we didn't actually alliance swap, we get additional compensation for our community service.
That's so awesome. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they actually give us. A couple of the other things that happened was the War Store Gear 15 upgrade to double drops for Alliance War credits was done mistakenly. They doubled the number of mini uniques you got, but also doubled the cost, and that was a mistake. Anybody who did purchase it in that time is actually supposed to be refunded. It's not going to be a blanket refund for everybody. Like, they are going to look at who purchased during that time. But it's simply just a refund of what you spent that you shouldn't have been charged. That's all. So, really simple. Alright, Alpha Raid was only giving 1 orb fragment for some reason for like a day or something like that, so they're going to send some compensation for that. I assume it's going to be some, raid rewards or whatever, the Alpha Raid orbs. The next one was the New Moon event was not giving the right orb fragments on the ISO 8 campaign. And then, remember when the Lunar event launched, initially it was its single day core spending was up to 5,000 cores for all the milestones for the individual. They switched that down to 3,000 the very next day. So anybody who spent above the 3,000 supposedly will be compensated. I don't know how much, up to I guess the 2,000 difference that it could potentially be, or maybe beyond that. I don't know, but I remember in my old alliance, I was still in their chat. I hang out there. They actually, like, one of the guys posted his core spending on the very first day. He spent like 9,500 cores like that first day on just different stuff, and it was way past the milestones. The milestones ended 5,000. I don't know why he spent that much, but he did. So I'm really curious to follow up with him and just see, does he get compensated the 2K difference between the 3K and the 5K milestone top, or is he gonna get the excess too? I don't know. Well,
there's no reason he should get the excess, but
there is no reason, but who knows?
but like I was saying earlier, I was referring to this, which is like I did that just the first day. I was gonna do it anyway on something that we were like the stream. We had crowdfunded something we were dumping a bunch of cores into anyway, and it just happened to line up with the event. But like I did buy things with those cores, so if I get the cores back, then everything that I did buy with those cores, I'm basically gonna get 2,000 cores worth of stuff for free if they give them back. So I don't know what they're gonna give back, but it actually doesn't make sense. Just in the interest of fairness, I'm not sure I should be getting the 2,000 cores back. The day of, I jokingly, like the next day when they said they're bringing it down to 3,000, I jokingly was like, well, wait, so I didn't need to spend that 2,000 the first day. What the heck? Which, like, it's, if there's a case for like, oh, I wouldn't have spent those cores, but I did to hit the milestones. But you still got stuff for those cores. So if they're just like, well, here, have the cores back, then it's like, well, then you just gave me a bunch of stuff for free.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, that said, though,
we'll see.
Some people point out like that does seem kind of unfair, which I agree, that is a bit unfair, but it's also a very scopely thing to do. Is like our loyal patrons who spend 5,000 cores in a single day. Yeah, we're giving them a few extra rewards, so maybe we'll make those people happy and say, hey, good on you for spending 5,000 cores in one day. We'll go ahead and encourage that.
Yeah, because, I mean, there really shouldn't be, like, I know there was outcry on Reddit about, like, 5,000 cores a day, you guys are nuts, what the hell's wrong with you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need to spend that much, it's just it's a super goal, right? Like, if you want to hit that, if you do hit that, great, whatever. If you think the couple of gold promo credits are worth it, then fine, go for it, whatever. But you really only need to spend like 900 a day tops, like, and it's even then, it's just dependent on the rest of your alliance too. So if somebody else in your alliance is spending like 1,500 a day, then yeah, it's way less, right? So it's varies so much. It was a lot of unnecessary outrage, I would say. Alright, and the last bit that we have of news today is the calendar that came out this afternoon, which is detailing the Polaris kit. It's called Like Father, Like Daughter. And it says, keep your watch, TV, and electronic devices away from this week's blog, as X Factor's magnetic controller is stopping by for a preview. Of course, her kit deals a lot with the polarity, where she is flipping things like regeneration to bleeds, regardless of who the enemy is. So that's kind of an interesting factor that does hard counter a few characters in particular. The one that comes to mind mostly for me is Doc Ock, who relies largely on regenerations for the most part, and he does a good job of supplying health to his team. So there's quite a few characters that might be flipped over by this counter, which is kind of interesting. I also think it's going to be interesting to see how she plays in PvP modes too, because that could be a fun X factor potentially for how those fights go. I don't think we really need to read all of this, information on her as a background of her character, but primarily her traits are Hero, Global, Mutant, Controller, and X Factor. So she will be the fourth member of the X Factor. I believe Multiple Man will be coming to the game before her.
Quick interesting note: they have 2 cosmic heroes, a city, and a global.
This is a very odd team. It's not going to work well for certain Greek raids, but for other ones, mutant, it'd be great, right? Yeah, so they're all mutant at least, but yeah, it is odd to have a team like this that's all over the place on that particular trait, but yeah.
Basic, we got a splash damage attack that's going to apply bleed to everyone, and it's going to barrier most injured for 10% of her max. That's pretty good. We got a turn 1 special, 20% max barrier, splash damage for 190. They'll take 250% piercing if they have bleed instead. Primary target always gets crit, and it's unblockable. So she can, if the X Factor haven't gotten additional speed by that point, she is going to force them to get some speed unless she's blind or something. You got the ultimate, which you can also use on turn 1, harkening back to Daddy Magneto. You can drag enemies together. As long as this is placed in the center, you should clump everyone closer together unless there's 10 enemies on the field. But it can leave a couple people out if you use it on someone all the way at an edge, so just try not to do that. And it's going to do 300% damage, which is nice. 2-turn disrupted. Anyone who has any regen, it's going to flip to bleed. So as you mentioned, this is going to be very devastating to Doc Ock, but it's also going to do a good amount towards characters like Rescue. Really anyone who's doling out a bunch of regen. The Night Nurse ult is really going to suffer from this as well. As long as Multiple Man's there, 100,000 extra focus, so the regens are definitely going to flip to bleeds. It's unavoidable, and it can't be counterattacked. Unavoidable, very powerful. And then the passive, which is really like the unifying thing that brings the X Factor together. We got on Self or X Factor crit, remove all deflect from the most injured non-summoned enemy. So if this wasn't a big enough middle finger to Doc Ock, now anytime anyone on this team gets a crit, deflect gets hand waved away from the most injured. When an enemy attacks this character or any ally with barrier, which Polaris is pretty much going to be giving the entire team barrier, he's going to apply bleed to that enemy. So even when it's not their turn, he's just going to be applying tons of bleeds to people to punish them for having the audacity to even attack this team. And then on War Offense, she's giving everyone 15% max health, except the Multiple Man dupes. She's giving everyone an additional 10% max barrier, which we don't know if that's going to mean 10% more of their max health can be supported as barrier. The way it reads is that the actual barrier bar will be increased by 10%, which is not a lot because for those of you that don't know, barrier is 30% of a character's max health as barrier. And so if it's actually only a 10% max barrier increase, then really it's 3% more of their max health can fit in their barrier bar. It's not really a lot, but it's something. And then 70% focus to the entire team on War Offense as well. So definitely going to help to have that extra focus. But yeah. But all right, we have gone on long enough. It is super late over here, so we're going to wrap up. Thank you, as always, to Dutchrudder for joining me on this one. I will, of course, put a link to Dutch's stuff in the video description below. If you like listening to these, we have been putting them on Spotify as well, so there should be a link in the description for you to be able to listen and or download this on Spotify as a podcast. But yeah, other than that, that's all we've got for you. Thank you guys very much for checking out this video. Huge shout out to Livepool for editing this monstrosity of a video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and call an exterminator. And I will see you guys real soon. Till next time.